What up, YouTube? We back with another video. We got this Raptor R right here. We're getting ready to do an AWE exhaust on it with a new muffler. So let's go ahead, get this thing installed. You guys watch along. If you're getting this installed on your truck, I'll give you guys a little step-by-step on how to do so. Let's get it. We got our Raptor R. $2025. We're putting the AWE exhaust system on this thing. So let's get it unboxed, see what it looks like, get it installed on this beast. This thing is brand new. Got everything laid out on the table. Got the tips down here. Gonna go ahead, get the truck on some jack stands and start removing the factory exhaust. So we got the bracket on the back loose that holds the muffler chip. And then we got the bracket up on the side of the frame. Same thing on this side. Got that bracket off, got this bracket off. So we're gonna work our way to the middle and start disconnecting some of the electrical connectors. But we gotta take off all that from up there, all the way back here. So let's get to pulling apart. All right, get in these exhaust clamps off. The bolts are facing up, so make sure you have a nice wrench or like a pass-through 15 style wrench. Did take this single hanger off here. It's a 10 millimeter that holds it up, and then the other side slides into the frame right there. And then we got both of the electrical connectors off of the valves. The clamp loose here, and then we got the clamp loose at the front. So pretty much everything's loose. I'm just getting this last one up here done, and then we'll start pulling the exhaust off from the back, and then we'll get this big thing out of our way. Got the driver's side muffler out. Just had to shake it a lot to get it out and work it out. I used a little mallet to give it some persuasion, but we'll go ahead, get this side broken loose from the rest of the exhaust, and then we'll get that big centerpiece down. All right, we got this side coming down and off. The exhaust, just gotta work it out. Kind of a pain. All right, we got 1, 2 off. We're gonna grab the jack, put it underneath that big center muffler, and we're gonna work that thing all the way off and start installing a new AWE. Let's get it. There's 2 tins in this bracket hanger here. I just took those 2 tins out, hang the bracket out the way. You can see the exhaust is starting to slip out. So this stays up here, because you can see a little divot in here that holds it to this exhaust, and then this clamp stays on this exhaust. You can see it's got a tack weld there, but they're both sliding off here and here. So we'll get it worked the rest of the way out and get it from underneath the truck. All right, we got the big piece coming down. Let's go ahead and get it pulled out from underneath. The thing is heavy. We got the big muffler off this beast and start now putting all this beautiful jewelry on the truck. So per AWE instructions, this X pipe goes up first. This side connects to the factory exhaust, and then we'll build from here back. This is that one hanger I took off on this side here. So we'll get this pulled off, installed on there, and then we'll get our clamps out the bag and start clamping up. That way, when we install it, we can snug them all up, and then we'll torque them all down once we have everything set in place where it needs to be. In this bag, we have all 3-inch clamps. We got some zip ties. These are to hold the hangers on the end. So we got 2 locks for that. So we'll put that on towards the end once we start getting everything mounted up. We got a new valve in the bag here. And we got this plate where this bar goes in between, and then these bolts will hold it together. And that one will actually mount to this piece here. The other one is already on the exhaust right here. So we'll use these extension harnesses it came with, plug those into the factory location, and then plug these in. So we'll go ahead and start getting some of this stuff assembled, and then we'll start off with this X pipe and 2 3-inch clamps. Got this piece on. So when you mount this piece, you gotta make sure the bar that it comes with is right in the center. And then there's 5 bolts that come with it. 2 bolts mount to that bracket from underneath once you set it on here. and then the other 3 go here. I just put a little Loctite on the 3 bolts just so we don't ever worry about them vibrating loose or anything on the exhaust. But this is all connected. Let's go ahead and get this connected to that piece. Just like so. You got this closest to the hanger on the exhaust, and then we got this one. It's just the dummy to keep the check engine light from coming on. So the extensions will connect to those 2 over there. We'll get those plugged up real quick, and then they got to run and connect to the top of the valves right there and right there. All right, so we got the muffler in place. You got this little swoop doop that goes towards the bottom. The top is flat, so you know the difference between the 2. So we're gonna go ahead, grab the next 2 pieces that go up over the rear axle, and we'll get those attached back there. But you can see how it's coming together, pretty simple. And then again, we'll go back behind once we have the full exhaust installed. We'll start tightening all these all the way down. They're just snugged up so it doesn't come sliding off or move a lot on me while I'm installing the rest of it. We got this pipe. The short pipe runs on the passenger side, stops right up there. And then this pipe runs over this top bar here and then wraps around that way. We just got to twist it up, but what we need to do now is get the exhaust hanger that goes up here, and we'll install that hanger so that way it holds all this up where it needs to be in place, and then we'll start installing the rest of the rear muffler so we could put the tips on. This is the one we need right here. We know it's set on there this way. This piece slides into the frame and this bolts up. So let's go ahead and get this put on. All right, we got the driver's side muffler attached. And then same thing with the passenger side over there. I just don't have that clamp tightened up. We're gonna go ahead now, get the tips installed. We have in the box right here. And once we have everything squared away on both sides, we'll go back behind every clamp and tighten everything up. But right now I'm just gonna sneak my drill up there and tighten up that clamp right up there. You can see it dangling off to the side, just to snug it up. And then we'll get everything set in place, torque everything down, put some zip ties on the wiring, be good to go. Let's grab the new mufflers out. Let's slide those on. Let's go ahead and get it out. Let's slide it on. Oh, before we do that, our clamp, put our clamp on there, and then we can slide it on like so. Whew. All right, let me get these lined up, tighten them down, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. I'm liking how that looks. You can just see the AWE across the top on both sides, looking down at it. They're not tightened up yet, so that one's a little off to the side. Just trying to compare the 2 to see. So this one just needs to go back just a touch. Maybe this one needs to come forward just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get them squared away, and then I'll pick up the video. We got one of the locks installed there. And then we got one more installed right there. That way they don't slip out. There's no beveled edges like what's on the factory exhaust up here. How it's beveled, it's just a straight piece. So they put these on here just to prevent it from ever slipping out and slipping back. But we got those 2 installed. We're gonna get a couple zip ties on these wires up here. Make sure they're up out the way and not burning on none of the exhaust. And then we'll fire this beast up. To give you guys one more look at it. Full exhaust. We got all the wiring zip tied out of the way over there, so we don't gotta worry about it touching up on no exhaust or burning up on anything. Then we got all the clamps aesthetically facing, easy accessible. Everything's torqued down by hand. You can see back to the mufflers. We got all the factory exhaust hangers in place. Got all our locks on, so we'll get this thing out from under the jacks. All right, let's lower this beast back down. Damn, look at those tips. Sheesh. Just for reference, you can see how big that exhaust is. I appreciate y'all watching, man. Gonna start it up right now, and that'll end off this video. Like, comment, subscribe for more content to come.